Hi, I'm Natasha Walsh. I'm an artist who works with a variety of different materials driven by concept. Growing up, I was dyslexic. When I was younger, like 4 or 5, this made it impossible for me to read and to write. I would look at a whiteboard and all the words would be moving around, so it was very difficult to engage with what the teacher was saying. But I found that I could draw really easily. I could translate 3 dimensions into 2 dimensions, and it was really simple for me, and I liked how that got a reaction from my peers and a sense of purpose. And so it felt like art was just an intuitive language for me for expressing myself and connecting with other people. With my synesthesia, I experience images with relation to sound. It's like watching a film inside my head. Or being at like a rave or something, and all the laser lights. It's like that, but in my head. And so it's really hard to grasp onto anything individually because everything changes just as quickly as the music changes. When I was 20 and I was finishing off my BFA, I was looking for how I could get my work to an audience. I wanted to get as large a platform as possible so that then I could start to improve the work by getting feedback, by getting responses. And so I started to just apply to things. I thought to myself, I've got to get my head around rejection. It can't be something that puts me off. When I applied to the Brett Whiteley Travelling Arts Scholarship, once again, no expectation that it would be selected. It wasn't my first time applying. It was just so incredible to be given that opportunity because you're always your own backer, amongst all the criticism and rejection. And it was just incredible to be given someone else's support, to realize that my work was valuable. If that makes sense. I've got many influences, like any artist. We're a bit of a magpie and you're just going around and adding to the subconscious collection. But with this work behind me, it really began completely unexpectedly from being in Paris on the Brett Whiteley Travelling Arts Scholarship. I went to see Monet's Lingerie. I went inside with no expectation at all. I hadn't even looked at images of what the work looked like inside. I was just blown away because the works were so beautiful musically. It was like he understood my synesthesia and he painted for it. It was crazy. So then it made me start to question whether there was something to synesthesia that was more tangible. What if it was just my brain's way of its understanding of colour that might help me to make better work, might help me to make better paintings, a hyper-awareness of how it works together. A way that I could start to understand what was happening with my synesthesia was unpackaging Monet's work, but I thought that the best way to do that was to reverse engineer the process and to invite a musician from the Cité, and then I would translate their music back into a painting using the parameters of Monet's work to try and understand what it is that I was experiencing. And I tried to keep everything simple. I decided to only work with Monet's palette. I decided to work in acrylic instead of oil. I'm trying to translate something that's not only 3-dimensional to a certain extent, but it's in 4 dimensions, it's in time. So translating something that's in 4 dimensions into a single time frame in a painting is so difficult. When I look at a painting, the composition of the music changes according to how I look at it. I really like looking at paintings more than listening to music because I can come to it on my own terms. I can not get overwhelmed by it. There are so few opportunities in the arts, so it's really hard to get your foot in the door. The real benefit of the Brett Whiteley Scholarship is the growth that happens while you're there. The advice that I'd give to young people who are maybe just starting out, have applied to an art university or contemplating it, is that you really need to stay true to your work and to your own purpose. Don't let other people sway you. Basically reassess anything that's said to you and always question whether it feels right for you and whether this sounds true to you.